Welcome back to my course on PSE 15. In this and the next couple of sections, I'm going to look at 2 or 3 of the new guided edits in PSE 15. As I mentioned before, there are so many guided edits now that there certainly isn't time on the course to go through all of them, and it's very important that you spend as much time as you can experimenting with them. But I do think it's worth me looking at least 2 or 3 of the most significant new ones, and I'm going to start with one that's called photo text. The image that I'm going to use for it is one that I took in the Roman baths in Bath in the UK earlier this year. So what I'm going to do is to choose one of the fun edits, and the fun edit is called photo text. So there's the picture taken in Bath, the original Roman baths, which were built and used by the Romans when they had taken over the country about 2,000 years ago. They were here for quite a long time, but most of them have gone now. I'm going to actually put the word Roman baths over this picture and effectively use the picture to fill the letters of the words Roman baths. You'll see what I mean by that in just a moment. So the first thing I need to do is to put some text on. So step 1, click on the type tool button below and then click on your photo and start typing some text. So I'm going to click there and I'm going to type Roman. Then I'm going to hit the enter key to start a new line, and I'm going to say baths. As it says in the instructions, you can change the style, so you could make the text italic, you could change the color, although to some extent some of those things are going to be superseded by what we do later. So by all means try those things, but I think it's worth having at least one full run through yourself first. When the text has been entered, commit with the green tick, and now make a choice in step 2 between fitting and filling the text. Fitting expands the text to fit across the width of the photo. In that case, the aspect ratio of the font is maintained. Filling expands the text to cover the height and width of the photo. So if I click on fill here, what you can see is that it's filled the height and width of the photo. The third step is to select a background style. Now I'm going to choose a black background style. You'll see the reason for that in just a moment. Let me do black. Where there isn't text, I've now got blackness. If I chose white, where there isn't text I would see white. If I chose clear, it would be transparent. Now transparent of course means that in theory at least this image comprises those 2 words and everything else is transparent. Clearly the key thing here is what your requirements are. I think it's easier to see what's going on this example if I choose black. So I'm using a black background. You can then choose whether to crop the image to remove any extra space. Particularly if you've got quite a few words on here, you may find that in order to fit things in, align them and so on, you've got a bit of space here and there. So cropping might be needed to get rid of any space. If there is any here, there certainly isn't much. I did a crop just to make sure. And then I can select in step 5 the intensity of the bevel of the text, the drop shadow and the strokes that are used on the letters of the text. I'm going to choose large. Look at, for example, the word Roman when I make this choice. You notice how the edges of the letters now have a bevel on them. The black background means you can't really see a shadow there, but there is a shadow there. If I click on the white background, you can see more clearly both the bevel and the shadow. And in fact, whereas originally I chose that black background so that you could see, for example, the top of the R in Roman, which was disappearing with a white background, now that I've got the bevel and the shadow, the white background's fine. So there we are. My photo is used to fill the text in the words Roman baths. There are some advanced options here. I'll leave you to experiment with those. But if I was happy with this, I would just click on next, save my changes and so on. That's the photo text guided edit. Please join me in the next section.